Hi everyone! We as an artist often hear how creative we are. But where does this creativity actually come from? And how can you build or can you improve yourself in being creative? This is a question I often get, how I come up with the ideas that I have created into my art pieces, or how can you get inspired in general? This is a question there is actually no walkthrough or no blueprint for, that you can do the exact same thing that I do or that I did to achieve the very same result. This is something really personal and something that I did and still do and will always continue doing is, of course, watching other people create. So whenever I do some paintings and drawings or acrylic pouring, I have YouTube running next to me. So my working desk is actually in front of a television and I have YouTube streamed on my television all the time. I often watch some series and movies and stuff, but most of the times I just watch some YouTubes. And of course I do follow a couple of YouTubers as well, and I watch their new movies and new videos. So this is something to get some kind of new input, new inspiration from, and just to see how other people create and what they create just builds up new ideas in your own imagination, what you can try on your own, or what you can improve on, or what you actually always wanted to try and never really got the courage to do though. Yeah, this is, I think, the major part that you can do. Just have a look at others or go into the museum. Although it sounds a bit old-fashioned to go into a museum, and I actually do not really do this that often myself, but having a look at real original art, not filtered through a television screen, is something completely different. Especially when you get a chance to visit, I don't know, Italy perhaps, and get the chance to see the old masters' works in person. It is really outstandingly different than watching it on television. I once had a chance to visit Italy and I went to the museum there and had a chance to see the David sculpture in real life and in real size, and I was actually 1 meter in front of it, and it really was so much different than you have ever seen on pictures and stuff. You can see how it was created. Changes your perspective as an artist. Also, if we have a look at the old masters' oil paintings there, you can see where they probably had to fix some areas, which you will never see through a television screen. But besides of all the research that you do along your way in becoming an artist, or being an artist actually, there are some other steps that just come along the way. The more you create, the more ideas are going to come and going to build in your mind. And this is something I was not aware when I started doing my entire art. I always was a bit afraid of at one time coming to a point where I have no more ideas, where I have tried everything and you just do not know what to do. Until now I have never met such a point. So there was always something that I had in my mind that I wanted to try, that I wanted to attempt, and which I was interested in doing but never had the time to do. Of course, there will always be this feeling that I think every artist has, not being good enough or not being as creative as you should be probably to be successful, or to have the need to cater to some audience that forces you to be creative in some kind or in a certain direction, which is a bit toxic, of course. But again, the more you create, the more you will actually realize what you as a person like to create and like to look at yourself, because you can only get happy if you create something that you also love. And while I was watching so many YouTube videos, I often came across the term artist block, which I never so much experienced myself. But of course I can understand the concept of it and not knowing what to do. But the first thing that you have to overcome as an artist is the belief that every piece that you create has to be something meaningful. So that it has to be a masterpiece every single time you create something. Every time you grab a pencil or a brush or your colors to pour, it has to be something outstanding, wonderful, never seen before. This is not going to happen. When I have a look at the last years of my, let's say, art career, about 50, 60 or even 70% of everything that I didn't really turn out as pretty as I hoped to. And this is just normal, especially when you're young and when you're starting off your art career, or even if you are a senior already and just started painting and drawing and just fell in love to it. The first steps, the first experiences are a bit rough and it's a learning curve, but the more you know, the easier it's going to get. And the quicker you can learn to adapt things and to change things and to even correct things, which was the most time-consuming thing in the very first years, I'd say. Because when you're young and when you're starting off and you make a mistake, you are blocked. You really do not know what to do. You do not know how to fix it. And the major idea is to just start over again, which is a really, really frustrating thing. Because if you're halfway through of a painting and you come to the point that you want to restart, you will have to do the entire thing again and just hope that everything turns out better in the next attempt, which at time does not do. Especially in my young years, I have thrown so many things away because I was not satisfied with them. I was disappointed of myself. Having a look at this now, years later, I would have rather kept them just to see how much I have improved. Because you can only see how much you improved when you compare to yourself. There will always be someone who is better than you, who is more experienced than you, and who is more known than you. But when you compare yourself to these more known and more skilled people perhaps, this is a bit disappointing. So always compare your skills to your skills from a month back, from a year back. So this is much easier for you to follow your own path actually. And when you really come to the decision to redo an entire project, you will see that at the second attempt, you will be even better and it works quicker and it's not as stressful perhaps as the first one. So just as the most basic rule, never ever give up. Even if you fail, you will learn something of it and you will learn more from a failure than from watching anyone else's failures or successes. Believe me, I've been there. Now let's come to a small reference to this video series here. And this is a video series that I did a couple of months ago already. And you might have seen my speed drawing videos of these little drawings already. Although they are one of my least clicked videos ever because it was one of the very first ones that I uploaded. And I called them Royal Fruits. The reason behind it, coming back to the term of artist block, I was asked about it oftentimes on Facebook. And something that I was recommending everyone who was facing it, just to create or draw something. It does not have to be meaningful at all. Just do something, just to be in the drawing or creating habit. I always say just draw an apple. It is simple, it is easy, but you will have your pencil or your brush in your hand. You are creative, you are creating something, and perhaps on the way of creating, something new comes into your mind and you can change your ideas and everything will be back en route again. And actually I was at a point where I did not really know what to do. I was not blocked, I was at my parents' house and I was a bit bored, but I didn't really know what I wanted to create now. Because I didn't want to start a large project, because it was just a weekend and I could not finish it, and I do not really like unfinished projects, although I have a ton of them. So I wanted to do something smaller, something simple. And so I grabbed my own advice and drew an apple. And when I did so, I just had a look at our fruit bowl, which was standing on the table. And there was a pineapple with a logo, which was called Royal Fruit. And so the idea was just born, creating a royal fruit series, which I did here. So I combined the fruits with a royal theme, which seemed to be nuts at this point, but it was really, really fun to do. And it was something new. I'm not sure if anyone else did something like this before. Probably yes, because everything was done in arts before. But it was really fun. And this was the point that I was trying to tell you here. Just start doing something. Ideas will come to your mind on the way. And even if they do not come on the way of drawing for the project that you're currently doing, they will come for the next one. And this is the same for the acrylic pouring as well. When I started, I just thought about pouring paints over a canvas, that's it. Switching colors, switching thicknesses of paint perhaps, but that's it. But while I was doing this, so many more ideas came just to my mind, then the resin part came to it, and there is still so much stuff that I want to try to attempt, and you never get rid of ideas once you're in the flow. So if you're at a point where you're probably not inspired or not feeling motivated, just start, just do something and you will get into the flow again. In case you want to know something more about the drawings, for all of them I used Stonehenge paper, which has quite rough texture, and used my colored pencil. And for these I used the Prismacolor pencils and the Polychrome pencils. And as the paper has quite a rough texture, you will need quite a lot of pencil here. Once the first layers of pencil were applied and I had quite a thick layer of pencil already on the paper, I just used a regular paint thinner and went over it. You do not really need very much of the paint thinner, but a good amount in your brush. You go over it and you can work with it like with paints in a way. And this smoothens out the entire surface because the paint thinner is going to thin down the pigments and you can spread it around on the paper easily, and it gives you more depth into the entire piece, which will help you make it look awesome. If you do not want to use paint thinner at all, you can just layer up your pencil, but you have to go over it a couple more times and you make sure that your pencil is sharp all the time to fill all the gaps in the paper. So for my taste, I'm a lazy person, so I try to make the first layers and then just smoothen out with the paint thinner. I think it took me about 2 to 4 hours to complete each of the pieces. The most time consuming was really the blocking in phase where I used the pencils to block in the colors. And once the first layer is smoothened out with the paint thinner, everything is going to go just quickly. You have to add another layer if you need and smoothen out again, and everything will be just fine. You can see me using my technique here all the time. But as this video was not about showing off any of my drawing skills or techniques, I just wanted to give the information in case you wondered. Basically, this was everything I wanted to tell you for this video. Most important thing that I can give you for your way: never ever give up and just be patient. If you want to have arts as a hobby or a job, probably it is like in every other sector of life as well. If you are into gardening, you will learn to get more and more stuff and more creative stuff done the more you do. If you are into baking, you will get new ideas on the way, what to bake or how to create certain cakes and stuff on the way as well. Never ever anyone was born with all the knowledge that was available, and you will learn on the way. And I'm still learning, and I'm still thrilled to see what my career, my arts in general is going to become in the future. And I hope I can drag you all along with me. So for all of you who already follow me, I really appreciate it. I have always reached the 5,000 barrier, which is awesome, amazing for my first year. Not even my first year of doing YouTube. I'm really proud of myself. I'm super thrilled how many lovely comments I receive from you guys and how many lovely people I've already met here. It's just amazing. So a big thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot to me. It is just, yeah, it's amazing. Nothing more I can say about it. And if you're new to my channel and this was the first video that you've seen, it was a bit different than my regular videos that I do. But if you liked it, just give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions for whatever matter, just let me know in the comments as well. I will be happy to answer them. And next video will be something different again, so look out for it. I thank you for your time watching this video and wish you a great day. Bye bye.